I'm inventing my future by daydreaming about being an author. At the end of the day, I am a pantser. I just wasn't in the zone. Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Cassidy and I'm an aspiring author currently working on a second chance romance with an element of mystery and suspense, and I refer to that project as Project Miles. And in today's video, we are going to be writing. I know, shocker. I didn't have much of a plan for this video other than this being my motivation to write this week. And that's exactly why I started this channel, because I knew it would hold me accountable to actually sit down and write and ultimately finish my project. And with Project Miles, I really love this project. I really want to see the finish line for it. I would be very disappointed in myself if I didn't finish it. And I also wanted to set some of my February goals in my planner. You are going to be seeing this planner in probably every single one of my videos from now on. Me and this planner were like this. It's like my emotional support planner. This is where I keep all my writing goals and all my writing progress. And keeping a writing planner was something I implemented this year, and I'm really loving it so far. I tend to fall out of like even writing in a planner, so I'm hoping that I will stick to writing in this one. I've stuck to writing in one for like my regular job because that just helps me keep track of like to-do lists and things like that. But like when it comes to my personal life, I always say I want to like plan out my days and then I never do. But I think because this one has a specific purpose of just being my writing planner, I think I will be able to use it throughout the year. So I have my January goals here, and each week I would just pencil in like what my writing days are and any notes that I've made. What I mean by that is I actually like carve out time to write that day. I don't mean like I just write the whole day, I wish. But because I work full time, I just try to like get an hour time block or something during the week to just sit down and write. And my goal is 2 days a week this year to do that. Also, I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself. I feel like I've said this in all of my videos since like 3 videos ago. So if you've watched those and you're listening to me now, you probably think this is annoying. So I'm going to quickly wrap it up and start doing my February goals. So the quote we have for February is, "The only limit to the height of your achievements is the reach of your dreams and your willingness to work hard for them." And that is a quote by Michelle Obama. And I love that quote. I really love that this planner has a bunch of quotes. Okay, I'm gonna take a second to write down my monthly goals, any notes I have, what my focus is for February, and then I will be back. I finished my goals. They're nothing too crazy. Mostly every month my goals will just be like a word count goal and a chapter goal. But like even the chapter goal, I'm not gonna be too like strict on it or anything like that. So my monthly goal for February is to write 8,000 words and write 4 chapters, which I think is doable. In January, my goal was to write 5,000 words and I was able to write 6,100 plus, I think. And I went on vacation for half of January and I was still able to write 6,000 words. So I'm pretty comfortable saying that I can write 8,000 words this month because I have no vacations planned. And I think I should be able to write 4 chapters. Last month I wrote 3 chapters. I'm kind of just basing my goals off of what I was able to obtain last month. And then I really want to lean into the thriller aspect of my book because if you don't know, Project Miles is a second chance romance with elements of mystery and suspense, like I said before. And in Act 1, it was my 2 main characters, Miles and Ella, getting to know each other, falling for each other, what they went through together, and what pulled them apart. And then in Act 2, it's like 11 years later, and Miles and Ella are reuniting, and a lot of the mystery and suspense aspect comes into play in Act 2, whereas in Act 1, like, little hints were dropped, but it wasn't like full-on mystery what has happened here, because in Act 1, Miles and Ella were only 16 and 17, and Act 1 was where the event happened that would later in Act 2 be the event that was being, I don't want to say investigated, but kind of like the event that is coming back to haunt the characters, if that makes sense. And I'm really excited for it, but I've never written like a thriller before or anything with mystery, so this will be my first time doing it, and I'm looking forward to it, but I know I have a little bit of like reservations because I've never done it before and I don't really know exactly how to do it. So I've been trying to read a lot of thrillers just to like study them and figure out kind of like what the timeline is with thrillers and like structure and things like that. So it's just draft 1 right now. It might be a little bad, and it probably will be bad, but I'm setting myself up for success in draft 2. And then I also want to stick to my 2 days a week routine, which I mentioned before. I want to be able to write 2 days a week at least. I think obviously if I find myself having more free time, I will totally be writing then. And then down here in highlights is where I will keep track of my word count and my chapter count. So yay, that always feels good to like put my goals down on paper, because I feel like I'm more likely to stick to them when I have put them down on paper and when I've said them out loud. So for this week, I'm going to write down my 2 days a week that I want to write, and maybe write down if I have any videos planned, because this planner is also where I want to keep track of like what YouTube videos I want to film and when I want to film them, just to be more organized. And the quote on this page is, "The best way to predict the future is to invent it." And I'm inventing my future by daydreaming about being an author. Okay, today is Wednesday, so we're already midway into the week and I have not written, but today is going to be a writing day, so I'm gonna put that down. And then based off of what I have planned for the rest of the week, I think my next writing day will be Saturday. Perfect, now that I've written it down, I am going to go do some writing. I think I'm gonna do a 1-hour sprint. I am starting a new chapter in Miles' point of view, and I love writing in Miles' point of view, so I'm excited for it. Hi friends, it is now the next day. It is a work from home day. It's a Thursday and it's currently my lunch break. I just wanted to take a break and kind of debrief on last night's writing session because I did not check in with you last night after I wrote. So yesterday I was fully going in with the goal of writing for 1 hour, and I'm going to be so honest, I don't know what it was yesterday, but I could just not focus. I was getting very distracted during my writing and I wasn't really feeling it. Like I just wasn't in the zone. And I didn't want to keep writing because I knew it would just end up being terrible and the words would not make sense, because in my head I knew what I wanted to happen, but I couldn't write. Like I just couldn't form the correct sentences. I did end up pausing the timer. I think I had like, I want to say 15 minutes left, maybe even less than that, but I just stopped myself. And like I said, it's Thursday, I'm working from home and it's my lunch break. So I thought today I would take back those 15 minutes that I paused the timer and do a little bit of writing just to make up for it. And today is not technically one of the writing days that I assigned for myself in my planner, but I want to write whenever I can. So I'm going to try to get in 15 minutes now, maybe even a little more depending on how I am feeling once I sit down and write. I'm not sure, but I think I'll feel better than I did last night. I was just very distracted. And I don't really know why, because I was writing a fun chapter. But I think with writing the like more intense scenes or the more memorable scenes, I feel this pressure to make it perfect right away. And if I'm not able to get the right words on paper, then I'm just like so mean to myself. I think I'm a terrible writer, and I didn't want to feel like that yesterday, so we're gonna take back our 15 minutes and get back into the manuscript. Okay, I'm feeling 100% better about my ability to write after taking those 15 minutes to write, because I only wrote 300 words, but I am so proud of them. I absolutely loved it. I feel like I barely wrote anything, but what I did write had a lot of significance, and I just love the way I worded some things and the way things are happening. I fear I'm starting to stray very far away from my outline for this book, but at the end of the day, I am a pantser. This is the first book I've ever tried to outline, but I can't break away from my pantser tendencies. They make writing fun, they make it thrilling. So I'm just gonna keep going with it, and we'll see where the book takes me at the end of draft 1. I think I'll probably loosely stick to my outline, but kind of just put things in as I go and think about them. But I am very excited about the words I just wrote. I think I don't know. I don't know if I finished this chapter. It feels finished, but I don't know if I want to keep things going. I feel like I constantly go into this battle of if I should finish a chapter or not, because I am telling the story in dual point of view. So there are certain scenes that I want to be from a certain character's point of view. And I feel like at this point in time, where I'm at the chapters where Ella and Miles are finally reuniting after 11 years, I feel like I've written a lot of Ella's internal monologue and her feelings around seeing Miles again for the first time. But for Miles' point of view, there is an extra element to seeing Ella for the first time. And I know I'm being kind of vague, I don't want to say too much, but there are two big things happening at the same time. One of those being seeing technically the love of his life again, and one of them being like a very big life-changing moment that's happening. So in his point of view, he's kind of been going through both things, whereas Ella is just only going through seeing him again for the first time. So I don't know if I want to put certain chapters in his point of view or certain chapters in her point of view. I don't think that made much sense, but I do like to talk through these things just to help clear my brain up. I'm glad I was able to carve some time out to write and get those extra 15 minutes that I missed in the sprint yesterday. I think any allotment of time that I can get for writing, I'll take, because at the end of the day, even though it was just 15 minutes, these 15 minutes helped me progress a bunch in the chapter. So I'm happy about that. Sometimes I feel like I need an hour to be able to write things of substance, but 15 minutes is good enough. If that's all you have time for, that's all you have time for. I still have 30 minutes of my lunch break, so now I'm just gonna take a break from writing and go eat something. And I don't know if I will be writing again today, but I'm very excited that I even wrote today because that was not the plan. So now I can mark today down as being one of the days I wrote this month in my planner. Okay, just finished up a 30-minute sprint, and I actually ended up doing maybe like 45 minutes, I want to say, because I was at the end of the chapter and I just wanted to finish it. I was in the middle of Conrad giving a speech at his engagement party, and I was trying to find the perfect words, and I knew if I stopped when the timer went off, it would never find me. And I like the way it turned out. I like the way it ended, but I think in draft 2, I definitely want to be a little bit more intentional with the words my characters say. I don't know if that really makes much sense, but for example, Conrad is giving this speech at his engagement party about how much he loves Ella, and in draft 1, my goal is just right now to get words on the paper, finish the manuscript, and just have like the whole story written out. And then in draft 2 will be more of like the line edits and making sure that everything that I'm saying fits the character. I think right now what I have is fine, but by the end of this story, I will know Conrad so much more. He has really just been introduced in Act 2, so I don't really have a grasp on him and who he is as a character. So I think in draft 2, I'll be able to find words that are more suitable for Conrad. Hopefully that makes sense. But today is the next day. It's a Friday, work from home day, and it's my lunch break, and I decided that I just wanted to sit down and write again. So this would be my third writing day of the week, or third day of the week that I'm finding time to write, which is amazing because originally I just had time carved out for 2 days this week. But like I said, the camera just always motivates me and really gives me the drive to sit down and write. So I'm happy about that, and I wrote 646 words, which I think is pretty good for a 45-minute sprint. I don't remember how much I wrote yesterday, and I think I wrote maybe around 500 the day before, but I do want to take a second to add up what I've written for the week already, because I can jot it down in my planner, and since I also finished chapter 34, I can make note of that as well. Okay, so this week so far I've written 1,607 words, which is great because I also do have time carved out tomorrow to do a little bit more writing, but it is a Saturday tomorrow, and I feel like with the weekends it can be a hit or miss on if I'm too busy to write or not. So I'm glad that I've already gotten this many words in this week, even though it really doesn't seem like that many words. It's a lot for me, and I'm just like taking note of them by writing how many words I do that day in the little section for the day. And yeah, so far so good. Feel like I'm on track to hit my goals. It is only week 1, so we'll see. But I do want to end this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. I feel like this video maybe was sort of random, but I do feel like it was productive in progressing my manuscript. So hopefully you enjoyed it. And I would love to know if you guys have any tips for finding time to write outside of work or during busy weeks. I know for me, when I carve out even just 15 minutes, 30 minutes to write, I end up feeling so much better about my progress. You don't always have to sit down for 2 hours to write. Progress looks different for everyone. It's not always a one-size-fits-all. And I look forward to making more time for writing this month. But with that, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you want to do. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!